I speak to you and say, rejoice, for a season of abundance is being opened over your life. And what I am preparing to pour down is not only wealth, but full restoration for the years in which you quietly endured lack. My beloved child, listen to this word with a calm and open heart. Do not rush past it as though it were only a passing sound among the countless noises of life. I am calling you to pause, not to sow fear within you, but to awaken the faith that disappointments once caused to grow dim. There are moments I send to you like a key. If you hold on to them in trust, you will see the door that has long been closed begin to open. Today, I want you to know that your name has not been forgotten in the things I have ordained. What you thought was too far away, too late, too difficult to reach, I can still bring to you at the right time, in a way you never expected. I have opened the treasures of my goodness, and I am teaching you to step into abundance with a grateful, watchful, and pure heart. But my child, this is not only about money, as the world often understands it. I do not merely want to place a financial amount into your hands, only for you to continue living in anxiety, fearing loss, fearing lack, fearing tomorrow. I want to transform the way you see my provision. I want to heal the fear of poverty that has clung to you. I want to remove from you the shame that says you are not worthy to be supported. I want to teach you that true abundance does not begin with the number in your hand, but with peace in your heart, with the faith that your Father knows what you need, knows when to open the way, and knows how to bring you out of narrow places. You prayed in the hours when no one heard. I know the nights when you lay still while your heart remained awake, counting every obligation, every unresolved matter, every responsibility pressing heavily upon your shoulders. I know there were times when you smiled in front of others, but when you returned alone, you quietly sighed because you did not know how tomorrow would be handled. I saw the tears you quickly wiped away. I heard the very quiet prayers, the words caught in your throat, the hopes you did not dare to speak because you feared another disappointment. Not one thing has fallen from my sight. Not one of your sufferings has been taken lightly. I was there in that silent room. I stood beside you in the moments when you thought you had been abandoned. And now, I am bringing you the reminder that lack does not have the final voice over your life. Understand that what I give is not a small coincidence, nor is it an impulsive reward. I am the one who does all things with order, timing, and purpose. When I open a financial door, I also open a door of responsibility. When I place abundance in your hands, I am also shaping your heart so that wealth will not control you, but so that you may use blessing like a stream of living water flowing to the very places that need refreshing. You will not receive only to keep for yourself. You will receive so you can stand firm, heal old losses, build what is good, lift up those who need support, and become a sign that I can still turn dry ground into a flourishing garden. Therefore, do not let distraction pull you away from this word. It is not because I am so weak that I need you to listen fully before I can do what I desire to do, but because you need to be kept in awareness so you may recognize the path I am opening. The adversary always tries to sow doubt, haste, weariness, and whispers that say, "This is not for you. You have waited too long. You cannot escape this condition. But I say to you, do not agree with the words that make you smaller. Do not let one difficult season convince you that your whole life will remain trapped in lack. I have seen you endure long enough, and I am calling you to rise in a new faith. There are things that seemed lost, yet under my hand they can still be restored. The time you thought had passed in vain, I can turn into wisdom. The peace you thought had run dry, I can refill with my gentle presence. The joy you thought had been stolen, I can relight like a lamp in the deep night. The doors that once closed before you do not trouble me. Rejections, failures, shortages, and unfinished plans do not have the power to cancel what I have ordained for you. I do not build your future on human instability, but upon my faithfulness. Today, your inheritance is being rewritten in the light of hope, not with the ink of despair, not with the accusations of the past, and not with the fear that once made you shrink back. I am writing a new word over your life: restoration, provision, protection, healing, and support. You are not one who has been left at the margins. You are not a child forgotten in the crowd. I know your name. I know the road you have walked. I know the things you lost and never told anyone. And I also know exactly what needs to be returned, what needs to be rebuilt, and what needs to be made new within you. When I bring abundance, I also bring protection with it. For I do not want you to receive blessing and then live in confusion. I do not want you to step through a new door with an old mind full of fear. I will teach you discernment, stewardship, humility, and how to hear the peaceful guidance of my voice in every decision. You will not be abandoned in the middle of your blessing. I will go before you to open the way, walk beside you to uphold you, and stand behind you to protect you from the things that would try to pull you back into the old cycle. What I give you will not only fill your hands, it will also steady your steps. So receive this word with faith, not greed. Open your heart to what I am about to do, but also allow me to mend the places in you that are still fearful, hurried, or wounded. I do not want you to long only for an outward miracle while neglecting inward renewal. I want you to become someone who can carry blessing without being led astray by blessing. I want you to have enough to live, enough to give, enough to rise, and enough so that lack will no longer choke the laughter out of you. Above all, I want you to know that you are loved even before you receive anything at all. If you believe that I am speaking to you in this moment, let your heart say Amen as a seal of agreement, as an opening of the door to faith, as a gentle response to my love. Do not say it in haste, but with the full expectation that I am still at work. Deliverance has already begun in places your eyes cannot yet see. Movement has already started in deep layers you cannot fully understand. And before a new day comes to a close, remember this: I am not late. I have not forgotten you. And I have not turned my face away from your prayer. I come at the right time, with abundance in the right measure, protection in the right way, and restoration in the right place, so that you may know my hand is still upon your life. You are not forgotten. Even though there were nights when you thought your crying dissolved into emptiness and no one heard, I was there, right in the moments when you quietly wiped your tears, in the times when you placed your hand upon your chest and wondered why your body felt so tired, why your breathing had become heavy, why strange signs kept appearing and making your heart uneasy. I saw you when you tried to appear strong before others, but when you were alone, you collapsed into confusion. You searched for explanations, listened to diagnoses, and tried to understand with reason what was happening. Yet deep inside, you still sensed that something greater was moving. My child, that was not your imagination. I am stirring your awareness, calling you into a deeper awakening. So you may not only see what is happening outwardly, but also understand that I am preparing you for a new season of restoration, cleansing, and sacred support. I do not come to sow fear in you, but to open your eyes to the truth that your life is more precious than you have ever realized. What you are going through is not the end, nor is it proof that I am far from you. On the contrary, often in the very seasons when the body is weary, the mind is shaken, and the heart is full of questions, you begin to hear my gentle calling more clearly. I am reminding you to slow down, to listen, to care for what I have entrusted to you, and to not take lightly the signs that are inviting you back into balance. The healing I have for you is not only about pain easing or strength returning, but about your whole being restored into the order of peace, thoughts becoming less chaotic, the heart becoming less afraid, the body being cherished, and the inner life being lit again with faith. My beloved child, I am preparing your vessel to contain something greater. A vessel does not only need to be beautiful on the outside, it must be strengthened from within, washed clean of what has settled for too long, and healed from the cracks you once tried to hide. There are burdens you have carried for many years without naming them. There are silent worries that have weighed upon your shoulders so long that you have grown used to the fatigue and thought it was normal. There are old words, sorrowful memories, and seasons of disappointment that have left deep marks within your heart. I do not blame you for being tired. I do not rebuke you because you are weak at times. I am simply bending closer to you and saying, let me touch the places you no longer know how to heal by yourself. If you feel your heart tremble as you hear these words, do not quickly dismiss it as a passing emotion. There are moments when I touch you not with thunder from the heavens, but with a quiet stirring in the deepest hidden place. Suddenly you may feel like crying, not because of despair, but because you are being recognized. Suddenly you may feel the desire to believe once more, not because everything has become perfect, but because a light is entering the place that was once dark. Suddenly, within you, there is a silent answer, I am still here. That is when I am drawing you out of the numbness of anxiety and bringing you back to the assurance that you are not alone, not abandoned, not forgotten amid the changes of your life. My angels have been sent to serve according to my holy will, and you are being covered by a protection that ordinary eyes do not always recognize. You may still be tired, but your tiredness is not the whole story. You may still be surrounded by unanswered questions, but temporary silence does not mean I am absent. You may feel that the room around you is empty, but heaven has not turned its back on you. What you do not see does not mean it does not exist. What you have not yet fully felt does not mean I have not acted. I am placing a hedge of peace around you, keeping you from things you do not know, and leading you through every small step. Even when you only have enough strength to take one more day. I do not require you to be perfect before you come near me. I do not require you to be strong before I embrace you. Nor do I tell you that you must understand everything by yourself before you may rest in my care. What I ask of you now is attention, a quiet space, a heart willing to open. Step away from the noise that exhausts you. Stop running after the thoughts that continually drag you into fear. Make room for me in your day, even if only for a few minutes in which you truly become still. Truly breathe in peace, and truly remember that you belong to me. In that attentiveness, you will begin to see what darkness does not want you to recognize, that hope is still alive. Restoration is still being written. Your body needs love rather than resentment. And I am still working in the deepest layers of your life. Your body is not a trivial thing for you to neglect or despise. It is the place where I have placed breath, life, feeling, movement, and the capacity to love. Look at it with gentler eyes. Do not only scold it for being weak. Do not only blame it for hurting. Do not only become afraid whenever it speaks. Learn to listen to it, as a child learns to listen to wise instruction. When it needs rest, rest. When it needs care, care for it. When it needs the right help, receive it humbly. I do not separate spiritual care from wise care in everyday life. I can use peace, prayer, rest, the hands of people placed at the right time, and every small decision to lead you gradually back into steadiness. Because you are precious. The opposition that once targeted you was fierce, not because you are weak, but because the light I placed in you has meaning. There are dark forces that want you discouraged before you see the new season, doubtful before you recognize the shift, exhausted before you are filled with fresh faith. But I say to you, that will not have the final voice. Weariness does not have the right to define you. Pain does not have the right to name your future. Fear does not have the right to sit on the throne of your heart. I am your Father, and I am standing between you and everything that wants to swallow your peace. I am lifting the shield of mercy over you, calling you out of the heavy shadow of anxiety and into the place of rest. So believe, not through strain, but through gentle surrender. Let your heart whisper that you still trust I am keeping you in this very hour. If there is a deep resonance within you, receive it as the response of your heart before my presence. You do not need to be loud for me to hear you. A single thought turned toward me through tears is enough to touch my heart. A weary breath that still chooses trust is precious before me. Remain in my peace, my beloved child. I will not abandon you halfway. I did not bring you here so you would collapse. I am restoring you layer by layer, renewing your strength day by day, preparing you not only to survive this season, but to emerge from it with deeper light, firmer faith, and a life that becomes evidence that my hand still protects, still heals, still loves, and still completes the good thing I began in you. And for some, your heart is quietly breaking because of wounds no one can see. You were betrayed by someone you once trusted, rejected by a place where you once hoped to be welcomed, and left in an emptiness that outward laughter could never fully cover. You still smile, still walk on, still answer that you are fine. But I know there are nights when you remain silent for a long time, staring into the distance and wondering why you have to carry this pain. I know there are moments when your heart feels like a room where the lights have gone out empty, cold, no longer wanting to explain, no longer having the strength to tell the story again, and not knowing where healing should begin. My beloved child, hear me speak gently. I have seen it all, and I have never left you. I was there in the moment they turned away, even when you did not recognize my presence. I was there when their words cut through your trust like a blade, when their silence made you question your worth, when you tried to keep your composure while something inside you was collapsing piece by piece. I did not ignore your tears. I did not take lightly the wounds that others told you to simply forget. There are pains that do not bleed outwardly, but I see them more clearly than anyone. There are cries that make no sound, but they still reach the depths of my heart. You do not need to prove to me that your pain is real. You do not need to make your suffering reasonable before me. I know. I understand. I am with you in every second when you thought you were most abandoned. Perhaps you once wondered whether love would ever come to you again. Perhaps you looked back at the disappointments and thought that maybe you were not good enough, not precious enough, not worth being kept. But my child, your value has never been decided by the one who left. Your dignity does not rest in the hands of those who did not know how to treasure you. Your worth is not diminished just because someone was not clear enough to recognize the light within you. I called you precious before the world called you by any name. I placed the mark of love upon you before anyone praised or rejected you. If they left, it does not mean you were removed from love. Often, it is the way I draw you out of a place that is no longer worthy of holding your tenderness. You have carried many questions in your heart, and some questions hurt even more than the answers. How could they treat me that way? Why was I wounded even though I loved sincerely? Why did I give my whole heart and still not get chosen? I do not blame you for those questions. I am not offended by your weariness. A kind father does not turn away from a trembling child simply because the child does not understand the road. I draw nearer when you are weak. I bend lower when you no longer have the strength to stand upright. And I want you to know that what others wounded in you, I can heal. What they caused you to doubt about yourself, I can speak again in love until you remember who you are in my eyes. You are not a burden. Even if someone once made you feel that way, you are not too sensitive simply because you know how to hurt. You are not weak because you cried. You are not worthy of being forgotten just because someone did not have the patience to stay. Your tender heart is not a mistake. It is the place where I can plant hope again. The gentleness within you is not something to be ashamed of. It is something I will protect, refine, and make wiser. I do not want you to become cold and hard simply because you were wounded. I want you to be healed, to become strong while remaining pure, wise without becoming bitter, and able to move forward without having to lock every door of your heart. My child, I have gathered every tear of yours, not as a sorrowful memory to keep you hurting forever, but as seeds I will use to bring forth a new season. Those tears were not meaningless. The nights when you thought you were falling apart were not wasted. The times you sat alone, trying to breathe through the tightness in your chest, were all seen by me with mercy. I am entering the hidden rooms of your heart, where you stored disappointment, where you locked away old hopes, where you buried the words you never had the chance to say. I do not come to blame you for hurting for so long. I come to gently open every door, bring light into every dark corner, and tell you that the time has come for you to no longer live like someone left behind. The joy they intentionally took from you, I can restore in a deeper way. The peace that betrayal disturbed, I can rebuild upon a stronger foundation. The confidence that rejection shook, I can place within you again, not through pride, but through the sacred understanding that you belong to me. There will come a day when you look back and realize that you did not die in that season of pain. You were kept by me. You did not lose everything as you once thought. You were delivered from what was no longer allowed to define your life. You were not discarded. You were being drawn nearer to unchanging love. Perhaps today you still feel unworthy, but my grace still opens its arms and says that you are always welcome. Perhaps you feel too broken to begin again, but I do not need you to be whole before I love you. I love you exactly where you are, and that very love will rebuild you. Perhaps you feel so weak that you do not know how to pray, but you only need to turn your heart toward me. One breath directed toward me is enough to begin. One tear rising in silence is not ignored by me. One whisper, Father, I am tired. What is enough for me to draw near and embrace you with a tenderness the world cannot give? I am not looking for a perfect life without scratches in you. I do not require you to hide your wounds before you step into my presence. I do not tell you to fix yourself until you are good enough before coming near. What I seek is a heart willing to open the door, even if only slightly. Let me enter the place you have tried to protect by yourself for too long. Let me touch the memories you do not want to mention again. Let me remove from you the lies that pain planted in your mind, that you are not lovable, that you will always be alone, that no one truly stays, that your future has been closed. No, my beloved child, I say to you, you still have hope. You still have beauty. You still have purpose. And there is still a new season waiting for me to open. Your past does not make me turn away from you. The broken places within you do not disappoint me. I am the one who can cause a garden to grow from dry ground, relight the lamp in a house that seemed extinguished, and turn broken pieces into a radiant testimony of grace. What others used to wound you, I can use to make you deeper, gentler, wiser, and nearer to me. You will not remain forever as the wounded one. You will become the healed one. You will not remain forever as the one left behind. You will walk as one upheld by me. You will not remain bowed beneath the shadow of rejection. I will help you stand in the light of divine choosing. So, can you give me one moment, not to pretend you are fine, not to speak beautiful words, and not to hide what still hurts? Simply come to me as you are. Lay down your weariness. Name your wounds if you can, and if you cannot, let your tears speak for you. Open your heart so I may enter, not as a stranger, but as the Father who has long waited for you with arms that have never closed. I do not come to take more from you. I come to return peace, dignity, joy, and hope to you, my child. Let me heal the place that was betrayed. Let me love the place that was rejected. And let me fill the lonely emptiness with my gentle presence. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are a treasure in my hand. And from today, I am beginning to restore you with love that never changes,